Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about all of the books that I have read that have helped with my mindset and grow my business and my finances. So I just want to kind of make it quick and snappy because I don't want this to be a long video because I can go into detail, but if you want to know anything further, let's chat in the comments down below. I'll send you links. I'll put in the description links to everything that I've read, books that I may have not mentioned in this video. But let's just go straight into the first one that I feel like needs to be mentioned, of course, and that is Think and Grow Rich. I cannot stop talking about this book. I read it for the first time back in 2018. If you're making a change in your life and you want to make a change to your finances and how you think about money and how you think about success, this is like the blueprint. It has simple chapters, like one on persistence, faith, desire, energy. Like there's just chapters that are very specific, and then there's stories behind, kind of like case studies of people who have followed the principles and what they've gained from it. And ever since reading this book, my life's just gone upwards. I mean, there's always up and downs, but my business has grown, my finances has grown, my mindset has grown. If you're looking to change your life, this is one to go for. Definitely check out some links down below. Napoleon Hill, he actually has some speeches and things on YouTube. They're very old, like they're back in the 1900s, I want to say, early. I know this is going to sound really bad, I can't remember the years, but it was it was ages ago. But he has a foundation as well, which is on Instagram. I'll put the links to everything down below that I mentioned, but also there are a few speeches and old school chapters and audiobooks from Napoleon Hill that you can listen to for free on YouTube, so I'll leave them down below. Definitely recommend picking up this, whether it's an audiobook. I've got the link for Audible down below. I do recommend Audible just because it allows you to get through a book much quicker. And if it's a book you're not sure you want to invest in just yet, I always go for a Audible, and I get a free credit every single month. Everyone gets that when you sign up, so I usually use a book that I'm not too sure if I want to invest in. I get it for free as a credit on Audible. Next one that I want to mention is The Secret. The Secret pretty much is, I feel like everyone should kind of know of this book by now, but it is about the law of attraction. I first came across it in 2012 because I remember my mood was a bit down around that time. I think my mum gave it to me. I was in uni at the time and I had no idea about the law of attraction, energy, those kind of things, until I read this book. And this book is basically as you can see, it's short. It's a very short introduction into the law of attraction and how you can speak things into existence. And I really recommend it if you feel like you have goals in your life and you just don't know where to go, what to do, how to attract them. This pretty much teaches you how what you think about is what you get. I found that the law of attraction has worked for me in many situations. I may do a whole video on things that I've managed to manifest, and I have a vision board. I make one every year and I make sure I write down my goals. Everything like that really came from the book The Secret. They also have a free film that you can watch on Netflix while you're quarantined and chill. Definitely check out The Secret documentary film. Is on Netflix, so just type in The Secret. The next is The Science of Getting Rich. It is actually a really thin, small book, similar to Think and Grow Rich, but much quicker, and it just focuses on your mindset about money. So one of my favorite chapters, and I always think back to this, I think it really impacted me when I first read it, and it's just talking about how you shouldn't dwell on, for example, poverty and stuff like that. And it gives an example of there could be one person, two people in the same situation, in the same area, same circumstances. One can get rich and one will still be poor. And it's basically about what the person that gets rich, what they think about, their goals. It is not affected by just environment. And I think that's a very good mindset to have, because a lot of the time we can think, oh, I'm from a poor area, no one around me is a millionaire, I'm never going to be a millionaire, when no, like countless people have managed to make it from nothing to something. That's why I love looking at like your 50 Cents and your Diddy's and stuff, and just how like they actually came from nothing and they made something. The Science of Getting Rich. Most of these ones that I mentioned in that first are money ones. So we also have, I think I'm going to say it wrong, but I think it's The 6-Figure Woman. That I got on Audible. That was an amazing audiobook. It's so nice to have like examples from real life women who are in all different types of fields, 9 to 5, side hustles, women that have their own businesses, investors, just the different sectors, and showing you that you don't have to just be a business owner to make like 6-7 figures. You could be working in a job like a normal 9 to 5, and it just shows you that their work ethic really did attract the money and the way they think about money. So I really like that book because it had like real life stories from different women that the author had interviewed. Next is another audiobook that I listened to and I really enjoyed it. I am going to go back to it, and that is Business Secrets from the Bible. If you are into reading the Bible, there are quite a lot of mentions of business in the Bible and how to run your business, and as a business owner I quite like to see what the Bible says about that and how to copy that and work that way. So yeah, that was really interesting for me. And it does actually talk about mindset and your routine. I particularly liked the fact that you should work your hardest every single day, and then on Sunday should be your day for yourself, which yeah, I pretty much do. I still sometimes work on Sunday, but I did like the fact that it said, you know, just give yourself at least the one day for yourself, well, for God really, and just resting and not focusing on work. Next one is a tiny book, like I printed it out on about 5 or 6 pages at work one time, and it is Who Moved My Cheese? And that you can get on Google, just search it, will come up for free like a PDF. But that basically is a real simple book that teaches you about money and how you should think about money and how you should save your money and put your money away and just be smart about money. But it's really a story about mouses and cheese and like a maze, and yeah, but the two correlate, and it's actually a really simple way of learning about how to manage your money. The next one is How to Get Rich Blogging. This is the first book that I read before starting my blog, and it really just goes through, it's kind of old now because I know blogs aren't as big as say YouTube channels at the moment, but it is a good background and it gives you different sectors, as in like beauty, food, fashion, and it will teach you how to like get your SEO, get your website set up, how to actually get ads, how to work with brands, and how to make money from like digital products. So definitely if you are a beginner, maybe go back to that book and make it like your blueprint, and it will probably inspire you to get your blog up and running. The other one is a great book, and I read this back in uni. I feel like even before I had any idea that I was going to start a business or run a blog. It was Kimora Lee Simmons, and I love Kimora Lee Simmons. Like I've always loved watching her on her reality shows, like Behind Building Baby Fat. I just felt like she was such an inspirational boss lady, like she was in charge, she knew what she wanted, she created these great clothes and products, and she had a family, and she was just fabulous. So she wrote the book Fabulosity, and that basically goes through her background, her story, like modeling, and then like her life, how she runs her business and stuff, and tips on mindset too. Love that book. I may go and reread it now that I've just spoken about it, but yeah, Fabulosity, great one for women. Next one is Secrets from the Millionaire Secrets. Again, I'm probably getting these titles wrong, but I'll put it up on the screen. That one I listened to on Audible, and that one was really good. Again, it's kind of like, I feel like the women one that I mentioned earlier copied this kind of format, because it does speak to a lot of real life millionaires just to get what they do and how they got their money and stuff like that. So it's really interesting. So you are a bad at making money, and this one, she has a series of books. This is not the original book, but all of her books are about like changing your mindset and getting your life in order. The one that I obviously bought was the one about money, and it really does delve into, it kind of takes the basics from like The Secret, Think and Grow Rich, and those kind of books, but it says it in a more personable way, coming from like a relatable woman, more like modern language and stuff. So if you want something that's a bit easier to read than Think and Grow Rich and like the older books, definitely start with To Be a Bad at Making Money. Most important book that I really wanted to focus on today, and I've mentioned it in some past videos that I've talked about money and business, is Profit First. This book will change your life. The book that I have actually made profit from is this book, just for the fact that everything I've learned in this book has has changed my life, and I've actually borrowed it to a friend of mine who also owns a business, and she found that it was amazing too. It basically just teaches you how you should pay yourself first, and I feel like none of us do that. As soon as we get paid, it's either going straight to bills, or if you're someone who likes to spend, it's like, what can I buy right now? Whereas you should be putting money aside, and this breaks it down into percentages, especially for business owners who have expenses and tax to pay. He writes down a list of things that you should actually do, actionable steps, and I copied them and it worked out for me. So definitely go and read that book if you're a business owner or someone who just can't seem to manage their money monthly. Next one is from my favorite guy, that is Eric Thomas, and it is The Secret to Success. Love his story. He was actually homeless at one point, eating out of trash cans. He says it a million times, so I remember. But his book, I listened to the audio version. The audio version is perfect because it's actually like a story. It has music in the background, sound effects. That's the best audio book I've ever listened to. So definitely go and listen to that if you want some motivation and inspiration. The next one is for my girl bosses, and that is How to Be an Overnight Success, from the owner of Rodial and also the other skincare, Nip and Fab. Yeah, she's the CEO of those, and I love her story. It just goes through how she came up with the ideas for the products, how she actually went to market them, and how she got them made. So it's really interesting. And also she has a podcast too, so definitely go and listen to that. And she just released another book, so I'm gonna have to buy that too. So another one is from the guy from Shark Tank. Definitely, if you are on Netflix, go and watch some episodes of Shark Tank. Eamon is actually the owner of Fubu. If you remember Fubu, the fashion line that was quite big during that moment in time. And his book is called The Power of Broke, and it basically just inspires you on his story on how he used him being broke as inspiration to go forward and be rich, which he is now. Also, one for girl bosses is obviously Girl Boss, and that is the original Girl Boss book that I would recommend you read. I read it years ago to the point where I actually can't remember what it was like, but I know it was about the woman who made Nasty Gal. Yeah, definitely read that one. It's more of a story of her, like how she actually went from, I think she was staying in a room in a house or something like that. She came from nothing basically, but it was really interesting to see how she built the empire and the online business. So the next one is also Shoe Dog, which is the story behind Nike. Great book. Love that book. Definitely recommend it. It's like it's from nothing to something story, so it really goes into detail about how he got Nike up and running with his small team, and like all of the ups and downs, especially from importing from China and Japan, which I really enjoyed because one of my products actually comes from China, so I learned a lot from that book in regards to that kind of situation. The next one is Invent It, Sell It, Bank It, and that again is from someone that is on the Shark Tank panel, and it basically is about making a product idea, selling it somewhere like QVC, or like trying to sell to retail, which is something that I would like to do in the near future. So I loved enjoying reading that. I got it on my Kindle. So guys, I don't always get all of my books hard copy. I actually do have a lot of audiobooks and Kindle ebooks. Next one was also an ebook that I read years ago, and that is Think Like a Rich Chick, and again that speaks to you like a modern woman. I'm sure she swears in it and stuff, but it's basically teaching you how to live the laptop lifestyle, which in a way it's crazy because if you fast forward maybe near to 10 years later, I'm actually kind of living that lifestyle. So when I read it, I was like, yeah, this is the life I want to be able to travel, go on the beach, and still be able to make money from wherever I am. So that's a really good ebook if you're new starting it, and a woman obviously because it's aimed at women. I've got two more, and the one that I'm going to mention is The Psychology of Selling, which I'm going to read again. I only read it a few months ago on Audible, and I really enjoyed it. It was more again about the psychology of selling, but it was very easy to listen to. It wasn't hard language, and it basically just goes into door-to-door salesmen and how they got into the psychology of why people buy, and it's very helpful for business owners who are trying to sell to wholesalers, customers in general. It's quite an old book, but the principles are things that you can copy and still apply nowadays. So the last book that I want to mention is from Tyrese Gibson. Again, I read this years ago, but it really did change my life when I read it, and that is How to Get Out of Your Own Way. And that is very relatable because obviously it's Tyrese. Look how successful he is. He came from the hood, LA, from nothing, a very dysfunctional family, and look what he has achieved now. From starting from being an actor, he was actually in a McDonald's advert. That was the first ever thing that he managed to do in the entertainment industry. And then he got into music and then acting, obviously, and he is like the mogul that he is right now. But Tyrese, great story. He's been through a lot, which he does share in the book. So it kind of just shows you, if you are coming from nothing or dysfunction in your life, you have bad people around you, don't use that as a weakness, use it as a strength and get out of your own way. Then also I have to mention the Bible. Obviously I've been reading that. I've also been reading a book which is called The Purpose Driven Life, which is really, really good. It's a 30-day book, so you read one chapter every single day, and every single day kind of dwells into a different topic. It gives you like a Bible verse, reasoning behind that Bible verse and how you can apply it into your life, and then it ends with a question every single day for you to ponder on. So I make notes every single day from that for the past 26 days. So I'm nearly at the end, but I've really enjoyed reading that book too. I hope this video helped you guys. All of these books I've mentioned have kind of built me into the person that I am now, and I love reading now. I always loved it when I was younger, but it was more fiction books that I was reading. Now I really prefer self-development kind of books. I hope you do too. So I'll leave the links to all of them down below. Comment if you have any further questions, and I will catch you in the next video, guys. Bye. Happy reading.